What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? It is your girl, Yo Diva in Knowledge, Lady Mocha, representing Mocha's Cafe de Paris. Well, I'm always serving you wisdom, knowledge, and spiritual awareness. Thank God it's Friday. So, to all of my working people, I'm glad you got through your week. The weekend is here, so I hope the weekend goes great for you. Hopefully, your week went pleasant for you. But nevertheless, I want to get directly into today's recipe, today's content. I had a subscriber reach out to me and email me, and I'm gonna call her Miss T because I don't like putting people names out on display, for confidential reasons, of course. So I had a young lady who reached out to me by the name of Miss T to basically let me know that she has an issue with her mother. Her email goes as follows. I got a question. Why do a lot of Black mothers get jealous of their daughters? When they start to hit puberty, I never understand why they're so jealous. And I think my mother is jealous of me because every time she bring her man around, she acts so different. She acts really nice. And then when he's not around, she'd be like, go upstairs and everything. And this, my mom boyfriend, pays for her hair and everything. But every time I ask, she will look at me crazy or catch an attitude. And what bothers me the most sometimes, she expects me and my sister to watch the kids when she's at her boyfriend's house. And I hate it. So I hope you will respond to this in your video. And also another thing she will do is she sometimes leaves the house and goes to her boyfriend's house and don't come back after 2 or 3 days. I think she is a narcissist. What do you think? Please make a video about this, please. And I hope you will respond. So, of course, Miss T, I definitely want to first thank you first and foremost for entrusting me with your situation and reaching out to me. So that within itself just pretty much states that you pretty much trust my advice and you really seeking a solid answer, and I get it. It's very, very, very unfortunate that a lot of us as Black women, we do not have positive relationships when it comes to our mothers. It's unfortunate that a lot of young Black women are going to be deprived of so many things just based on the fact, the type of woman who raised them, the woman who is over leadership, who has authority over their lives. And it's so unfortunate that a lot of Black women, we're going to miss out on a lot of blessings. We're going to miss out on a lot of opportunities based on the simple fact that we have mothers that have raised us to be very toxic, that have raised us to be very bitter, and have raised us to be very negative. What's up, Tide? And into everybody into the chat room. And this is one of the most significant reasons why we as Black women, we struggle to get ahead. We struggle to progress in life. A lot of it has to do with our mothers. A lot of these mothers who are supposed to be teaching us and guiding us, giving us wisdom, giving us knowledge, women that are supposed to teach us to make better decisions. You look for your mother to be that individual that will teach you, that will guide you, that will give you another direction to go in life. Your mother is supposed to be basically your overseer. That she's the blueprint to you. So basically, I'm hearing what Miss T is going through, and it's a lot of young black women that are going through this. You have a lot of these older women who have basically what they would say hit the wall. um they have already gotten up in their age, and they pretty much know they cannot go back in time and change their mistakes. They cannot go back in time and correct all of their wrongs. So what tends to happen is some women, as they get older, they start to become very bitter, they start to become very toxic, and what they do is uh they allow those traits to manifest, and what they do is they pass them down to their daughters. And that's the problem with the majority of a lot of us as black women. A lot of us are toxic, and a lot of us are drama filled, just based on the simple fact that our mothers have not taught us anything. They have not given us anything as far as, being able to step out there into the world and being able to progress, have healthy relationships. A lot of black women do not know how to build relationships with men, do not know how to have healthy relationships with men. And a lot of that has to do with your mother. So when this young lady reached out to me, I could tell she was pretty desperate, because she believes her mother is very jealous of her, because, as she stated, when her mom's man comes around, her mom acts different. And a lot of women tend to do this, because, for one, what I've come to discover, most black women that are mothers, most of them, in many cases, had their children very young. Most of them have had children at the age of 15, 16, 17. So what tends to happen is when these women become older, they want to play catch up. A lot of us as black women, we tend to bog ourselves down with responsibilities at a young age. So what we tend to do is we become mothers before we're even 18. We become mothers before we even get a high school diploma. We become mothers without being married. We have all of this excess baggage before we can even enjoy transitioning into womanhood. And that's the biggest problem with the black community. It's a lot of little girls that have a lot of grown woman baggage. You have young women that are not even 17 years old and already have problems like they're 40 years old. I know young women who don't even have a learner's permit and already have the problems of a 30, 40-year-old woman. And this is what happens when you make womanly decisions with a young girl, with a little girl mindset. And that is one of the biggest, I feel like that's one of the biggest issues that has been handicapping black women, is due to the fact that we make a lot of grown woman decisions with a little girl mindset. And that is the biggest thing that's been hindering us, because, again, anybody can become a parent. That's easy to do. Even roaches give birth to children, but that don't make them mothers. So you have a lot of you black women that are being raised by black women that have not transitioned into women, that have the mindset of, of a child. You have a lot of grown children. And a lot of that goes on in the black community due to the fact that a lot of women do not take precautions when they're out there being promiscuous. What's up, Nerly? When and basically I notice a lot of this most of the time, it happens to population that's mostly in poverty. It's women who are already struggling, who already don't make enough of income. These are the ones that are having the majority of the children. These are the ones that keep producing children. These are the ones who keep conceiving children. Women that are already in poverty, all right, that are already in a struggle, that already live in poverty-like situations. But these are the ones that constantly have children. So when you get these type of females who are conceiving children in the process of being in poverty, what tends to happen is these children tend to raise themselves. I got you, Nerly, no problem. What happens is a lot of us as Black women, we put ourselves in a position to where our children basically have to raise ourselves. When you have children back to back, you have multiple children from multiple men. What basically you put not only yourself at a disadvantage, but you put your children at a disadvantage. And a lot of this, again, most of the women that are most of the Black women that are making these type of decisions are Black women that are already in poverty. There are Black women that are already struggling. Most Black women who are successful and who are financially well established and who are independent, most Black women within that sector, most of the time, you're not going to run into those type of women with multiple children, with multiple baby fathers. It's the women who are already struggling, who are already in poverty. Those are the ones who most of the time have multiple children for multiple men. And again, the reason for this is because what has happened is a lot of us as Black women, we have learned to use our womb as a source of survival. You have a lot of women who have learned that the only way they can survive in this life is to basically use their womb as cash registers. And you have a lot of women that basically they do this. A lot of having children has become a broke broad's hustle. Basically, that is what broke, poverty-minded women do. Women who are in poverty, women who do not want to progress, women who don't want to do something outside of the statistics. This is what they do. They will basically survive by having multiple children from multiple men. And the reason for this is because when the system has designed it. What's up, General? The system has designed it to where if a woman wants to survive and be able to make a living and be able to profit off of the system, all she has to do is have multiple children. But which is easy. It's easy. It doesn't take a rocket scientist for you to figure out, all I got to do is have multiple children for multiple men, and I know the system is going to accommodate me. I know I'm going to get housing. I know I'm going to get food stamps. I know I'm going to get, what's up, Rael, my Scorpio brother? What's up, Omega? I already know that that's all I have to do. I don't have to put in work. I don't have to really make anything of myself. All I have to do is sleep with multiple men, have multiple children from different men, and the system is going to accommodate me. They're going to give me everything that I don't have to get from a husband. And basically, the system takes the place of husbands. The system does everything that a husband is supposed to do. The system provides housing. The system provides food. The system provides medical assistance. The system provides everything that a husband is supposed to survive. Is technically, if we want to traditionally speaking, logically speaking, the system has taken the place of husbands, and this is the reason why you have a lot of us as Black women that have strayed away from seeking marriage. That's really not an option at this point anymore, because again, women, a lot of these poverty-minded females know all I have to do is have multiple children for multiple men, go to the welfare office, talk to a caseworker. That caseworker is going to supply me with everything I need, and that's basically what it boils down to. So you have a lot of these toxic mothers who have had multiple children from multiple men. And like I stated, a lot of us have had children at a young girl mind frame. So what tends to happen is, as these women become older, they want to go out there and play catch up. They want to try to go back and grab those years and grab their youth back. So this is why you'll see women in the club that's probably 30, 40, in some cases 50 years old, and you'll wonder why. What is this old hag doing up in the club? You know what I mean? Why is she not out playing bingo? Why is she not on somebody's usher board? Why is she out here, still trying to cop her a young man? Why is she out here still being promiscuous? Because again, a lot of these women who have put adult responsibilities on themselves at a young age, what tends to happen is, as they get older, their children get older. So now they feel like, okay, I can go back out there. I can go back out there in the clubs. I can go back out there, and turn up. My kids are old enough now. No, you should have turned up and did all of that when you was young. But no, what you decided to do at 16, 17, 18, instead of living your best life while you were young and enjoying your youth, you decided to become a mother of several children, multiple children for multiple different men. So now, these women, when they feel like their children are old enough, to take care of themselves, they leave their kids and they hit the clubs. They call themselves trying to turn up and live their best life. But all of that should have been done when you was young. It comes a point as you become older as a woman. What women don't understand is we make ourselves age quicker when we don't settle down at a certain stage in our life. When you don't settle down while you still halfway have your youth, what tends to happen is you will make yourself age way ahead of your time. That's why so many young females that's 16 and 17 and they damn look like they 40. And then you have women who in their 40s who still look decent for their age, who still, you look youthful because they haven't been out there, letting all type of dudes raw dog them. They ain't been out there in them streets having all type of children from all type of different men. So your lifestyle, eventually, it will start to reflect on your physical attributes. And it's gotten to the point where a man can look at a woman and tell she's been had too long or she's been out there too long. It don't matter how bad your body is. It will slowly but surely start to reflect on your face. Your age will start to display in your face. Your age will slowly start to start withering. Because again, you're in those streets and you're living that Jezebel lifestyle, so eventually it will start to reflect. The trinkets. So that's exactly what it is, Omega. So back to the saying, with these toxic mothers. As I've stated earlier, a lot of us as Black women, a lot of us was doomed from the start. Way before we was even brought into this life, a lot of us was doomed from the start, just based on the fact of what women gave birth to us. And your mother is your biggest influence. And this is the reason why a lot of us as Black women are lost. A lot of us as Black women have all of this toxic behavior that we have adopted over the years. A lot of it comes from the fact it has everything to do with our upbringing. It has everything to do with the mothers who gave birth to us. These are the women who have influenced how we deal with men. Your mother influences what type of mental psyche you have. Your mother has a big influence on how you reason with life, on how you perceive life. A lot of it has to do with your mother. So the truth is, this young lady who reached out to me, she basically said that she felt like her mother is jealous of her because every time she brings her man around, she acts so different. I personally, I know a lot of women who do this. I know one now. Whenever she gets a man, she basically wants nothing to do with her children when she gets her man. When she gets her man, it's all about her and her man. She's going on trips with her man. She's always going out with her man. And she pretty much wants nothing to do with her children. You have a lot of women who do this. And again, this comes from the fact that, honestly, truth be told, you have a lot of women out here who are mothers who don't even want their children. That's the truth of the matter. Just because a woman has children, it does not mean she wants children. What has happened is a lot of females are opting to have children because children are a meal ticket for them to get for them to get resources. Just because a woman has children, it does not mean she wants children. It does not mean she's parenting those kids. It does not mean she's mothering those kids. There's a difference between, having children and being a mother. Anybody can have children. That is easy. But being a mother, that's a totally different story. And the thing about it is the government has given so many women a pass just because they have children. And the truth is, it's a lot of women out there who got kids that they do not want. They do not want to raise them. But they know if they want housing, if they want food stamps, if they want to be able to survive without having to work, without having to really, go out there the right way and provide for themselves. A lot of women know their children are their meal ticket. And the truth be told, had it not been for the majority of these women having children, a lot of Black women would really be in trouble. A lot of them would be homeless if it wasn't for them having children. A lot of them wouldn't have housing if it wasn't for them having children. A lot of them would not be able to receive any type of income if it wasn't for them having children. A lot of them wouldn't even be getting food on their table if it wasn't for their children. A lot of these women use their own children. They give birth to children just based off the simple mere fact that they know as long as they have children, the government is going to empathize and sympathize and pretty much give them everything that they need. And it's what I call the poverty hustle. It's the poverty hustle. Because unfortunately, that's how the system has it designed. The system has it designed to Black women, and it's unfortunate that a lot of us have not caught on, but the system has basically put Black women in a situation in which we are failing. We're really not progressing. We're really not succeeding. The system has set a lot of us as Black women up for failure. Truth be told, it has set us up for failure because it gives you that advantage of, I can go out here recklessly and let any man dick me down. I can go out here recklessly, not use any birth control, not get on any contraceptive. I can go out here and be irresponsible. I can go out here and let every Tom, Dick, and Daryl smash me. And no matter how much I fuck up, the system is going to accommodate me. No matter how irresponsible I could be, a thought, I could be a Jezebel, I could be the neighborhood tramp. Regardless of the poor lifestyle decisions that I make, the system is going to accommodate me. The system is going to not ask me questions. What's up, Indigo Kid? The system is not going to ask me questions. So, because of that, it has given us as Black women the advantage in being irresponsible. And this is the reason why a lot of us as Black women, we have this victim mindset. No matter how bad of the decisions we make, no matter how many poor choices we make, the system has already set us up with that victim mindset to where we feel a sense of entitlement no matter what we do, even if we're in the wrong, even if we're the ones that are going out here making these bad decisions. The system has given us this sense of entitlement in which no matter how much I fuck off, I'm supposed to be accommodated for. That's why you have some of us as Black women, we have this sense of entitlement. What's up, Datorian? Thank you for the $5 donation. Appreciate you, Datorian, supporting me as usual. This is the reason why a lot of us have this mindset where we feel like no matter what we do, no matter what bad choices we make, we automatically are supposed to earn empathy. And the system plays a big significant role in how women and how females reason with being irresponsible. And this is the reason why, and I understand, this is the reason why you have a lot of men who hold so much grudges and animosity towards us, because when a man messes up, when a man makes bad decisions, guess what? He can't go to the system, okay? That's the advantage. That's the disadvantage for men compared to women. And this is the reason why there's so much gender wars going on. There's so much division between black women and black men, because black men feel that black women, we have gotten over for far too long. And the truth is, a lot of us have. And guess what? There's a lot of black women we are peeping at. A lot of us are not co-signing and agreeing with the things that a lot of these women do, but it's just the way the system has it designed. Or what, like I said, a female can go out here and raw dog 5, 6, 7 dudes. All she got to do is go to the welfare office. Welfare don't ask her no questions. Welfare ain't gonna ask her, well, why you didn't use no birth control? Well, why you didn't take proper precautions? No, all welfare is going to do is increase her food stamps, add more money to her voucher, all of that. That's what the welfare system is going to do. Now, a man, on the other hand, if a man goes out here and raw dogs multiple women, the system is not going to empathize with him. The system is going to make him be responsible. The system is going to tell him, you're going to pay for these 9 or 10 kids that you created. We don't care if you're not married to the mothers, or if you didn't have a relationship with the mothers. We're going to hold you responsible, and that's where it's this double standard, is this contradictory. And this is the reason why you have a lot of these females out here that got this mindset with thinking that they are the victim, no matter how much they fuck off, no matter even if they are the ones that are being irresponsible. In their mind, a lot of these women, they don't think they're wrong because the system does not hold them accountable. The system should have had a design to, okay, once you get to your 2nd or 3rd child, you on your own. We're not increasing your stamps. We're not going to put you in another house with an extra bedroom. Yeah, and I agree with that, Torian. Torian says nobody holds them accountable. That's why a lot of these black women don't like red pill. And I totally get that. You have a lot of women, you know, that really shun the truth. They resent a lot of content creators that call them out and basically put them on display. And a lot of this has to do with the fact that they are so used to the system accommodating them. The same way there's deadbeat fathers, there's deadbeat mothers. Just because a woman is a mother don't make her a good mother. Absolutely. And that is the contradiction, because again, what a lot of women are not understanding is the system is giving them the upper hand, not because they're good mothers. What's up, Kels? What's up, sissy? They're not giving them the upper hand because they're good mothers. They're good women. They're not giving them the upper hand because they made decisions. The system has always been very sexist. So the system has always basically favored women more than men. That is how the system is designed. The system has always been that way. So a lot of these women, they're not getting benefits because they're good mothers. They're not getting housing and all of these other all these other governmental assistance because they deserve it. It's just that the system has it designed to where women are going to be accommodated regardless of what. That's what it boils down to. Women are going to be accommodated regardless of what. However, it's always a catch-22. It's always a catch-22, because even though the system has accommodated a lot of women that are accommodating these women, even with their irresponsibilities, by providing them with housing, by providing them with stamps, by providing them with Medicaid and all this other stuff. There's a catch-22, because what is starting to happen, and it's been happening over the years, men have gotten to the point to where, you know what, because I know the system is going to accommodate you, I don't have to stick around. I don't have to be your husband. I don't have to build anything with you. So if you really think about it, in actuality, the system is hurting more sisters than helping them. Especially these scallywag dudes, these low value dudes who lack masculinity, who don't want to work, who don't want to provide, who don't want to be a part, who don't want to play their role as a man. What it does, women who have handicapped themselves to the system, what it does is they end up attracting these builder bums. Because it's not so much to do men who provide and work, who take care of their families, that the majority of those type of men, they're not going to want to really get involved with women that are in poverty. You know who wants to get involved with females that are in poverty? Niggas who are in poverty are going to most likely affiliate with females who are in poverty. And this is the reason why you got poverty fathers, poverty mothers getting together, producing children in poverty. What's up, Jackie? Jackie says, perfect point. They don't think they wrong. They think the man's supposed to be happy they having his baby. Why would he be happy? It's a bill for him. It's a profit for the female. Absolutely. Especially when it wasn't a relationship. It wasn't a relationship. It wasn't a marriage. Because let's face it. Let's just call it for what it is. A lot of these females, they're not striving to be wives. They're striving to be baby mamas. Period. Point blank. These women, they don't honor being nobody's wife anymore. They rather be a welfare recipient than to be somebody's wife. You know why? Because when it comes to being a wife, women, we don't get to choose. But one thing about being a woman, you can always be a baby mama, but you can't always be a wife. There's a difference. And when we talk about these things, you have a lot of women who get offended, especially the single mothers, especially women that are in poverty. Women that are in poverty, and I'm not saying all single mothers are in poverty. You got some single moms out there that's handling their business. They taking care of their kids. They doing it by themselves. They ain't running the child support every other day. You got I know some single mothers who are holding it down. They not bitching. They not complaining. They not calling their baby daddy a deadbeat. It's like you have to say, you got the man up. You have some females out here who are womaning up. They don't learn to woman up. They're not bitching and complaining. Yeah, I got to do this. These kids, they my responsibility. I'm going, and they not complaining. They not going on social media calling men deadbeats. They not, on these YouTube streets calling men losers and all things of this nature. You do have some women, not all, who have taken accountability for their failures, and they're not bitching and complaining about it. What's up, Tanya Sweat? How you doing, hon? Good to see you. So it's a saying that you play stupid games, you end up you play stupid games, you end up with stupid prizes. You have a lot of us as women, we play rush and roulette with our wombs, and then when the consequences backfire, we want to play the victim. Most of the time, when a woman has a child, she knows exactly what kind of dude she's having that child from. So whenever I hear a woman ranting, a female ranting and raving, calling her daddy a deadbeat, saying he's a loser, the first thing that comes to my mind is, well, why did you choose him? Because You cannot tell me you did not see loser qualities before you felt comfortable having a child from this dude. Every woman, I don't care what she says, I don't want to hear, well, I didn't know he was like that. I didn't know. I didn't find out till most of the time, 9 times out of 10, you know what kind of Negro you having a child from. But what tends to happen is it's that hood denial. We play these hood shenanigans thinking that once we have a child, it's going to change something. We in 2021, and you still have women around here believing having a baby is going to change a nigga's mindset. You still got women who think like this. What's up, Fred? Thank you, sir, for the $5 donation. Fred Hampton Gun Club. Appreciate it. Also, the Toriana $5 donation. Thank you, guys, for the cash out. Appreciate it. They already knew. First of all, to be honest, honestly, as a woman, when you meet a dude, you already, first of all, women, we have what's called intuition. You already know from the start when you're talking to a man within 5 minutes of conversation, you can already tell from the start that this dude, he's a clown. He ain't about to be about nothing. You already know. But what tends to happen is three things that have ruined the demise of us as Black women having a successful future. And those 3 things start with a D. Desperation, dick, and denial. The 3 Ds has caused the demise of us as Black women becoming successful. Desperation, dick, and denial. Now, I'm going to first start with the desperation. All right? A lot of us as women have put ourselves in situations in which we have caused ourselves to become desperate. And most women who have put themselves in a position to become desperate are women who have made very bad choices. When you make very bad choices at a young age or through your womanhood, whatever stage, because you have some women, they make bad decisions later on down in life, and you have others who make bad decisions during their childhood before they can transition into womanhood. So what tends to happen when you make, to the ladies, when you make bad decisions, having children from bum-ass dudes, didn't give yourself a chance to get yourself established before you became a mother, you put yourself at a disadvantage in which you become desperate, which means you will choose anything. And this is the reason why a lot of us as Black women, we picking up build-a-bums, we picking up losers, because when you make bad decisions, for instance, you decide to have multiple children for multiple men, you can no longer be choosy. You have to choose what will choose you. And if you're a female already in a loser situation, 9 times out of 10, a loser is going to choose you. It's not going to be a man of substance. It's not going to be a man of value. It's not going to be a man who's already well established, who got his shit together, because a man who's well established and got his shit together, for one, he's not going to be attracted to you because he's already going to see all the baggage you got. So he's not even going to give you time of day. But you know who's going to give you time of day? A build-a-bum. All right? A build-a-bum will take you no matter how much excess baggage you have, because he's a loser anyway. And because you're so desperate, that desperation has set in, You're willing to take him because you have reached a point in which you know, because of your access baggage, you really can't be choosy and selective. And because you so badly want a male companion in your life, you'll be willing to deal with him. Just based on the fact that he's willing to deal with you. Not that he's in love with you, not that he cares about you. Just the fact that he's willing to deal with you, you're willing to accept them. And that is one of the biggest things that is holding Black women back from progressing and being successful, is when you let desperation sit in, you will take anything. Thank you, Omega. Omega says, well, I appreciate you in the space, Lady Mocha. Appreciate it, Omega. Thank you very much, sir. Now, Caleb here says, I know a lot of angry women who thought getting pregnant would make him marry her. Dudes ain't playing that game anymore. And Caleb, I am so shocked. I'm just so dismayed at how many women are still playing this game. They are still playing rush and roulette with their wombs. It amazes me how many of us as Black women are having children from men who don't love us, don't care about us. First of all, if a man is not good to you as a boyfriend, if he's not good to you just as a mate, what the hell makes you think he's going to be a good father? I know women who had dudes that was already disappointing them just as a boyfriend. This man wasn't even a good boyfriend to you. When you was in a struggle, when you needed him to be there, when you needed him to support, he wasn't even a good boyfriend, but yet you feel comfortable enough to go on a raw with these dudes and make them your baby father, and then you'll turn around and cry and complain when this man disappoints you as a father. Yeah, absolutely. It's this myth that only men are losers, and it's not true. You got a lot of female losers. I know plenty of them. I know some women right now, personally, that can't offer a man nothing but a headache and access baggage. You have a lot of female losers out there who don't know what it takes to be a good wife, a good mother. Like I stated, all women who have children, that don't mean they're good mothers. Just because you see a woman with 5, 6, 7 kids, that don't mean she's taking care of all of them. You'll be surprised how many women will go out to the club dressed up, decked down, Louis Vuitton shoes, Prada bags, and you go to their Section A apartment and their house is nasty. You open a refrigerator, the refrigerator ain't clean. You got soda spills all in the refrigerator. Food that ain't been cooked, that done spoiled. So just because a woman, looks a certain way, that don't mean she's living the way that she looks. Because I know some women who know how to dress to kill when they go to the club, but when you go to their house, the dishes piled up in the sink. They got rings around their tub. So you can't never go by how a person looks. You have to go by how they live. So back to this 3D thing. Like I said, desperation is ruining a lot of us as Black women because we have become desperate. We just pick up anything. We pick up anything that will give us attention. A lot of us as women, we don't do our research. Once a man gives us attention, we all in. We claiming them. We giving them access to our house, access to our children. A lot of these men you don't know from Adam. And again, this comes from desperation. When you have depreciated your value as a woman, you have to settle for anything. Because again, most men who are well together, who are well established, most of them, not too many in most cases, are going to pick up a woman that has access baggage. But a build-a-bum does. A build-a-bum doesn't have standards because he's all about trying to find a woman he could live off of. So desperation has become the kryptonite for a lot of us as women. Now, talking about dick, since we're all adults here this morning, dick has become the demise of a lot of us as Black women succeeding. You have a lot of women out here who love sex more than men do. It's more horny ass women out here than it is men. Oh, don't believe it? Go on social media. All I see is women talking about posting how they want some pipe, how they need to get laid. First of all, I think it's very unladylike for a woman to put it out there that she wants some dick. Nobody needs to know that you want dick like that, especially when you're posting it on social media for other people to see. No man should never even think you that desperate, that you have to advertise how bad you want dick. And it's a lot of women who do it. It's a lot of horny women out here. Because what's going on is you do have some better males out there that's making dick deposits. But the truth of the matter is a lot of guys are holding back, because what's going on is men are slowly but surely getting to a point where they feel like if a woman is constantly putting it out there, it's a trap behind it. So it's not too many men. You do got a lot of better males, but for the most part, a lot of them are not falling for the okie dokie. A lot of these guys is not trying to smash these chicks that are constantly advertising how bad they want dick. And you have a lot of these grown women who would get on social media and talk about, oh, I need somebody to come give me a booty rub. I need somebody to come to my house. Are you serious? You're a grown woman and you up here posting on your social media account how you want some dick. And I see a lot of them doing it. If they're not posting they want dick, basically they're posting a lot of thirst trap pictures. Exactly, Kels. When there's a lot of doggone predators online, they don't think about stuff like that. You have a lot of women out here looking for penis in the daytime with a flashlight. That's how hard up they are. And what I notice is these guys who do comment up under their posts when they say these type of degrading things, these men, they won't even take the invitation. They'll be like, LOL, girl, you crazy. Or girl, you fool up. A lot of them, they're not even taking an offer. A lot of these dudes is walking away from dick thirsty females because they know it's a lot that comes behind it. Because most dick thirsty females, they come with a lot of drama. Thank you, Jackie, again for the $10 donation. Appreciate it very much. Thank you. Yeah. And yeah, red pill is making it harder, and it is, and you got to respect the game. I like red pill and I hate red pill at the same time. But red pill is like medicine. It's nasty. It tastes nasty, but it's good for you. The truth is, a lot of these brothers, they got to be woke to avoid certain type of females. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not against the red pill, because it comes a point if we don't have it in us to discipline ourselves so we don't keep becoming other statistics, then maybe it has gotten to that point in which men have to have dick discipline. Because truth be told, a lot of these females out here, they're not disciplining themselves anymore. They're not disciplining their hormones anymore. So it's gotten to a point in which men have to start doing it. Because these females, not only are they dick thirsty, but at the same time, they also want to have children so they can profit and make a living off of the demise of men's weaknesses. So somebody has to have some discipline. If we're not going to have it as women, if we don't have it in us to discipline ourselves, well, now it's gotten to the point where men are realizing, you know what? I'm not putting myself out there. And until women, we get to that point in which we realize putting ourselves out there and being promiscuous and sleeping with all type of multiple men is hurting us more than helping us, we're going to continue to be a revolving door. We're going to have more men in and out of us than correctional facilities. So I stated, it's the 3Ds that have become the demise of us as Black women become successful. Desperation, dick, and denial. First of all, there's a lot of us that are in denial. First of all, a lot of us as Black women, we are still suffering from issues that a lot of us have not gotten any spiritual counseling for, have not gotten any type of therapists. A lot of us are dealing with toxic issues from our childhood that we have not gotten any therapy, any counseling for. And what is going on is it has come back to haunt us in our womanhood. Thanks, sis, for the $10 donation. Big ups to Poetic Kales. Thank you, sis, for supporting my channel. You're always supporting my channel. You always here. Show me love. I appreciate it, Kales. Thank you, dear. Thank you so much for the $10 donation. They even go for other women's personal dick like they borrowing sugar. Yeah. And I'm glad you brought that up, Tanya, because that falls up under desperation. It's gotten to a point now women cannot get their own penis. Because what's happening is that men are becoming conscious to the game that a lot of these females are running on them. So what's going on is men that are well established, they're being more careful with the type of women they get involved with. They're being more careful. They're being more selective. It's only the better bums. It's only the better dudes that are still smashing whatever female they can get. But the men who are woke to the red pill, the men that are conscious, that are woke to what's going on out here, they're not putting themselves out there so they can become a crutch for these type of females to profit off of them. So a lot of these men, a lot of dudes, they're not falling for the okie doke at this point. You get what I'm saying? So what's starting to happen is now you got females who've gotten to a point to where, you know what, I can't get the well-established dude, so I'm gonna make my move on a man who belongs to somebody. Now, this is for the guys who aren't woke to red pill. You got some guys that are still wet behind the ears, and they're still taking a chance, smashing these females, knowing these females are a liability to their future, to their marriage, to their career. You still have a few dummies out here who think they don't have to be aware, or they're allowing their ego or their penis to come before their common sense. So you have a lot of these dudes, some of them are still falling prey, to the game that these females are putting on them out there. So what tends to happen is you have these men who are married or who not, they're not in a good stage in their marriage. Or you have men that are still not woke, that are still falling prey to these type of females. So these females, what they're doing now, you got a lot of them, that's what they're doing. They're creeping with, they basically renting penis. Like I said, they know they can't buy it because it belongs to somebody else, so they rent it. You know what I mean? So a lot of that is also going on out here too, Tanya. So you definitely made a point with that. Ross says, I have had more Black women want a baby than marriage throughout the years. Absolutely. My standard has always been marriage coming out of high school, but I can count on one hand those who had a chance. Absolutely. And I mentioned that earlier. It has gotten to a point in which women have become content with just promoting themselves, demoting themselves to being baby mamas. A lot of them are striving for marriage, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that you have a lot of sisters out here that are promoting knowledge that's trying to stray females away from wanting marriage, from understanding desire for marriage. Now, when back in the day, when a woman got pregnant, women got pregnant for the right reasons. Women conceived children during the 60s, during the 70s. The purpose of conceiving a child was from a man who was your husband so you can help build his legacy. The purpose of having a child during that era was not for child support, not because you're trying to keep a man, not because you're going to trap a man. Back then, women understood the value of having a child was so that you and your husband can build a legacy and build a family off of his name. So in generations to come, that man's name will continue to keep transcending from generation to generation to generation. That way, even when he's dead and gone, his legacy is still here. But pregnancy used to be an honorable thing. Wives took pride in having children from their husbands because they understood the significance of having a family versus these females today. They don't understand the significance of having a family because all they're doing is having children. There's a difference between having a family and having children. And I don't think a lot of these women out here get it. I don't think they understand that. First of all, when you have multiple children from multiple men, that means you have different DNAs. Running through your household. This child has their own father. The other child has another father. All of these children that you're having for multiple men, you're not making a solid foundation for your children. Because what you do is when you have multiple children from multiple men, you put your children in a disadvantage. Because think about it. If you got 5 or 6 baby daddies, out of 5 of those, out of 6 of those baby daddies, and maybe only 2 who probably are really are consistent. Just hypothetically speaking, if you have 6 baby daddies, it may be 2 out of 6 of them that really interact with the child, come around to get the child, come around to spend time with the child, come around and bring things to the child. How do you think it makes the other 3 or 4 children feel who don't have a connection with their father? How do you think they feel? When little JJ, his daddy come and get him every weekend. But little Timmy, his daddy has nothing to do with him. So you don't think that affects him as a child to see his other brother and sister, they mom, they daddy come around and his never does. See, this is something women don't think about. The psyche of how your child can be damaged behind your negligent choices. Y'all not thinking that deep. Y'all not thinking that far ahead. Because again, when you have multiple men that's parenting, that you conceive children from, what are the chances all of them are going to be on the same accord? Very rarely are all your baby's daddies going to be on the same accord. Rael said, there used to be a time when women in your family would screen women for you to keep you from getting caught up. Sadly, female members are thoughts. Yes. Rael, that's definitely the truth. You dropping some jewels on that, because that's honestly that's why I'm doing this content this morning, because there's a lot of toxic mothers that are so jealous of their daughters. They're not schooling them, they're not educating them. And the problem is, a lot of these women who had these children, they had them during their thought season. So what tends to happen is you pass down your thought character traits, your toxic traits, you pass it down to your daughters. That we don't, it's not too many Black women, all of the grandmothers that passed, the aunts that passed, the older women in the families who have morals, you know, who did not have this thought syndrome going on, a lot of these women have passed on to be with the Lord. So all we have now is these, you know what I'm saying? Is these new school concubines that's misleading these young women into making good choices. Now, it's very rare that these young Black women are going to have that blessing of having Big Mama sit down and talk with her and let her know how she needs to conduct herself as a woman. That way she attracts the right man in her life. No, these women today is teaching their daughters how to twerk. These females today is misinforming their daughters and giving them false information and telling them, girl, go out there and get you some dick, get you some dollars. It's a lot of these mothers out here that are setting their daughters up for failure. I see it day in and day out. And then you have a lot of these women, they already know they don't hit the wall, so they don't want their daughters to go out there and stand a chance of getting something better than they ever did. So what they do is they set their daughters up for failure. I know one now. I know one, she done lost her third husband. Okay, she's by herself. Now, her daughter who's living with her, help and with her kids, her daughter has her father's child who wants to have a future with her, who wants to get an apartment with her. Now, her daughter, baby daddy, he wants to have something with her. But what she's doing now is she has gotten into her daughter's head and to making her daughter believe she don't need him like that. Why? Because she's by herself. She don't have anybody. So you have a lot of these older women that are single, who don't have male companionship. They're basically misleading their daughters and giving them, bitter pill knowledge of, you don't need no man. You can do it by yourself. I did it by myself and I'm fine. I'm happy. You have a lot. I'm telling y'all, that is one of the biggest factors of Black women not being able to progress, because a lot of us have toxic ass mothers who don't want to see us win. And the truth about it is, you have a lot of Black women out here, they don't think their mothers don't mean them well. And this is the reason why a lot of women are falling for the okie doke, because a lot of young Black women, they really don't think their mothers have any ill will against them. Now, you have some women, they know their mothers have ill will, so they don't take any advice or constructive criticism from them because they know their mothers really don't have good intentions, the best intentions. Okay? So, but you have some of these women, these females, they idolize their mothers. They worship the ground their mothers walk on, even if their mom is a thought, even if she is Jezebel, even if her mama been a neighborhood doorknob. Everybody done had a turn. You have some Black women out here, you can't tell them nothing about their moms. No matter how much of a thought she's been, no matter how much of a whore she's been, you got some of these women, they will defend their mothers would defend their thought mothers to the gate. So it's a lot of borrowed bitterness, Rael. Definitely a lot of borrowed bitterness. And again, it's unfortunate that a lot of these young women coming up, they're not going to have the blessing of having a mother really keep it real and help them to better themselves as women. Now, fortunately, like I said, I was one, I had a mom. My mom kept it real with me. She didn't make me believe that it's okay to be single and miserable. She didn't make me believe that being a single mother is a joyous event to be proud of. You have a lot of older women that are making their young daughters think that being a single mother is a prize. And honestly, it's the Black community that's doing that. You have a lot of single mothers that are celebrating the struggle. A lot of these single mothers out here aren't being honest with their daughters and telling them, look, yes, I can do it by myself, but guess what? I shouldn't have put myself in a position in which I had to do it by myself. Yes, I always been able to provide and take care of y'all, but truth be told, had I done things the right way, you would have had a stable father in your life. I wouldn't have had to struggle as much. A lot of us as Black women, we're not going to be honest and transparent about our struggle. If anything, we like, honestly, a lot of us as Black women, we love to sugarcoat our struggle. Exactly, Tanya. I'm thankful that I have women in my family that scream men that I dated. I'm thankful that I had women that have old school morals who taught me how to conduct myself if I wanted a husband, who taught me how to conduct myself from not being one of those women that have a household full of children, but no father to help me raise the children. See, that a lot, some of us women who were raised 70s babies, 80s babies, we were blessed with the privilege of having mothers and older women in our families. We had aunts, we had grandmamas who didn't lie to us, who taught us, who showed us how to cook, who showed us how to clean. Hey, this is what you have to do to make yourself wife material. Back in the day, older women prepped us to be wife material. These females today, that's in their 40s and 50s, they're not prepping their young daughters to be wife material. They're prepping them to be baby mama material. Thank you, Counselor Murray. Counselor says, salute. I was on Tinder back in the day, and these women led with I'm a single mother like a badge, as if men gravitated to it. LOL. Exactly, Counselor. And I say it all the time. A lot of Black women, we love to glamorize struggle. We love to glamorize it. Back then, remember Kels, Tanya? Our grandmothers had us in the kitchen. I had to make cornbread when I was 7 years old. I watched my grandmother fix my grandfather's plate. Now, today, we call that being a mammy. Catering to your man is being considered a mammy. In what world? Now, if you catering to these no good bum ass dudes that just coming around smashing, then yeah, you being a mammy on that. But if this man is your husband, this man is your companion, your fiance, that's not being a mammy. It's called being his wife, being his woman. That's what a wife does. That's what a woman does. But what has happened is the thought culture has taken over the masses, in which Black women are knocking other Black women who are very giving to their men, who are very catering to their men. See some of your comments. It's a lot of narcissism. It's a lot of mothers that are promoting their narcissistic traits and instilling them into their daughters. It's unfortunate, but a lot of these young women, when their mothers pass away and be dead and gone, and they be left on this earth by themselves, they're not going to understand why they're in a struggle. They're not going to understand why I still don't have a companion by now, why I'm still not married by now, because your mother has left you here with all these bitter qualities. But yeah, it's very sad how you have a lot of us as Black women, we glamorize the struggle. And all it does, and the reason, and to be honest with you, the reason why a lot of us as Black women, why we glamorize the struggle, we try to wear being a single mother as a badge of honor. You know, the reason why we do that is because the reality of not accepting it is way too painful. It's too painful. So it's easier to lie and convince ourselves that it's not that bad. I'm proud being a single mom. I'm proud raising my 5, 6 kids by myself. And the reason you do that, you have to encourage yourself because ain't nobody else going to do it. This is the reason why a lot of these women do it, because if they face the reality of it, it would tear them down. So lying has become a way of comfort for a lot of us as women. We have to convince ourselves that it's really not that bad. I really don't need nobody to help me with this. And this is our way of comforting ourselves through the struggle. Is it right? Do I condone it? No. But that is the reason why a lot of us as women, we glamorize the struggle of having to do everything on our own. So again, you have a lot of these toxic moms that are passing down these generational curses of bitterness, these generational curses of animosity. A lot of these are constantly being passed down. And if you do not identify, and this goes for men and women, if you do not identify the generational curses within your bloodline, you're going to pass those same toxic traits down to your children and your grandchildren and your great-great-grandchildren. It's going to keep transcending. It's going to become a cycle. If you know there's a generational curse within your family tree, you as a parent, that's your job to make your children aware of it. Yeah, and especially my problem is not so much with single mothers, it's the toxic single mothers, the toxic ones. And I cannot tell you how many times I go on social media and I go on Facebook, and I'll post something about single moms, and it's always that one bitter toxic single mother who wants to reply to my comment and tell me, I'm a mammy, I don't know what I'm talking about, this and that. And I'm like, first of all, this is what I don't understand about these toxic single mothers, because if you are really happy with your choice as a single mother, why do you always have to defend it? That's a number one sign how you know a lot of these women are not happy being a single mom, because they got to defend their single motherism. You don't have to defend something you're sure of. You don't have to defend something you're proud of. If you're really proud of the decisions you make, then why are you ranting and raving? Why are you so pressed? Exactly. You can always tell a single mom who's not happy, a toxic single mother, let me rephrase that, a toxic single mother who's not happy being a single mother, because she has to get into it with everybody who has something to say about it. If you are happy with your 5 baby daddies, then do you enjoy it. But for you to get upset because a man tells you he's not interested in you, because you have multiple children, or you get upset with women who don't have children, who got an opinion. Listen, if you are really comfortable with your poor decisions, then don't let me or anyone convince you that you are wrong. If you're happy, you don't have to always run to your defense and go toe to toe and get in every verbal altercation with somebody that has a difference in opinion. So, and like the young lady also mentioned, she stated how she has to keep her siblings all the time while her mom goes out with her man. And I've never cared for women who leave their children to take care of their children. I've never cared for women who have done that. Now here it is. You don't stop. You basically don't overly consume your life with these responsibilities. And instead of you being home, raising these children and taking care of them, you leave your kids on your oldest children. And what a lot of women don't understand, one or two things can happen when you're constantly leaving your children on each other. One or two things can happen. One, you constantly leaving your kids with their older siblings to the point to where now she may feel like it's okay for her to have multiple children, because you're already programming her and getting her used to taking care of children consistently. So she may feel like, you know what, I can have multiple children myself. I know a lot of young women, they have multiple children from the fact that they always kept their siblings for their mother. Always. So now they have a bunch of damn children of their own, because you've already made them become motherly. Now it's in their mind they can handle being a real mother. So that's one factor that can happen if you're constantly leaving your kids on the sibling. Or two, it can happen in which the sibling will be so burnt out, will be so stressed out, having to keep their siblings all of the time. So what tends to happen is they get neglectful. They don't really keep an eye on their siblings. They really don't see what their siblings is doing. So these give your children the advantage and doing sneaky things when you're not there. Because again, as the oldest sibling, when you got to keep your brothers and sisters all the time, you don't care what they do. They sneak out the house, you let them sneak out the house. You let them do whatever because you're already frustrated with the fact you got to keep them all the damn time. So this is what happens. This is why a lot of single mothers, they lose control over their children. They have no way of they're not running their household. This is when the children get out of control, because you have the older sibling. They are tired and frustrated with constantly having to keep their siblings, so they let them do whatever. So that's the other thing you have to consider about. Or in some cases, like myself, I used to keep my siblings all the time. I kept my siblings all the time. But what it did for me, it didn't motivate me to want to have children. It didn't motivate me to leave my siblings and neglect them. But what it did do was it made me not want to be a single mother, because I got to sense what it was like having to care for other children. And I realized how stressful it was. So in actuality, my mom leaving her kids on me was one of the best things that could have ever happened, because it made me not want to have multiple children. That's probably why I'm 41 and I only got one child, because I've already experienced what it's like when you have more than one child, what it's like to have to care for those children, what it's like to have to be responsible for those children. So it can do either one of those things. But in most cases these days, I see the first option happening most of the time. The oldest, who always keeping all of her siblings, 9 times out of 10, she ends up having a bunch of children herself. That's usually what happens. Let's see our comments up here. One of the worst people to work under is a single black woman with kids, never married, with no life. If you a man, she will take shit out on you. If you female, she will do the same things. And you know what? That's a harsh reality. It's so true. Women and I say women in general, that are miserable. They're not in a good stage in their lives. I actually had a thing a couple of weeks ago. I had a sergeant, who's supposed to, who's over me, over my department. I had a sergeant, a female, who I had asked a simple question about how they orchestrate the unit. And I remember she got very offended just by me asking her a question. She got very offended. And I realized is that you have the worst thing you could possibly do is put a bitter person in leadership. Man or woman, putting a bitter person in leadership can create a catastrophe. It can create a hostile environment. When you have a bitter person in leadership, somebody who's not happy with the direction their life is going, somebody who's intimidated by you, you have a lot of people, you know, who can be low key hating on you. It's a lot of people who low key hate on you, and nowadays you really ain't even got to do shit to a person for a person to be hating on you. Back then, you used to have to do something to make people not like you. People cannot like you just based on your personality. People cannot like you just based on how you look. People cannot like you just based on the fact that you have this magnifying personality that makes people like you. It does not take much to make people have some type of animosity or jealousy towards you. I asked her a simple question, and about how do they overtime schedule, and in her mind she felt like I was questioning her authority only because I asked her a simple question. I didn't yell at her, I didn't fuss at her, and then she had the audacity to sit up there and lie and tell my superior that she felt like I was being insubordinate because I asked her a question. And while the superior was talking to the both of us, trying to hear both our sides, as I was talking, she kept interrupting me the whole time. But when I did it to her, when she was talking, oh, well, you interrupted me and this and that. I said, wait a minute now, but you interrupted me the whole time that I was talking. And I realized is that you can't win with bitter people. Bitter people are always looking for a war. They're always looking for a fight. Always. Bitter people will make a commotion out of anything. It wasn't just a simple question and it went left. So, and that's another thing too, not to digress. We have to be very careful with listening to these bitter pill content creators, because it's not just red pill, blue pill, pink pill. It's a lot of bitter pill being promoted in the Black YouTube sector. Bitterness is becoming cancer to the Black community. And when I say bitterness, I don't want people just associating bitterness with Black women. Because whenever we hear the word bitterness, we automatically want to associate it with Black women. You also have some Black men, not as many as Black women, but you also got some bitter pill brothers on here promoting bitter pill content. It's a lot of bitter pill being promoted because you have some people that have programmed their mindsets to not like a certain gender or to promote negative content, promote bitter knowledge content based on the mere fact that they have personal grudges, personal animosity towards a certain gender. You have the bitter pill broads and you have the bitter pill brothers. It's a lot of that going on in the Black YouTube sector. You have people that are promoting content, giving people an overall perception of a certain gender based on the fact that they're giving bitter pill knowledge based off of their own personal negative encounters. A lot of that is going on. And you as a viewer, you as a subscriber, you have to be very careful who you let feed you certain knowledge. Because it's not good to eat from everybody's table. You get what I'm saying? Everybody's not feeding you content that's nutritional. It's a lot of fast food content being promoted. People are giving you content that's entertaining, but is not educating or enlightening you. And as you get older, you have to be very careful who you allow to speak to you and through your spirit. Because it's a lot of toxic, bitter pill content that's going on. And a lot of these people who y'all are confiding in, that y'all are allowing to promote this bitter pill knowledge to you, are individuals who are in their own struggle, who have not completely healed from their own toxicness and bitterness. These are the individuals that are promoting the bitter pill content. You have a lot of Black men and Black women who have not truly spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically healed from past scars that they have encountered during their childhood. Generation X men and women need counseling, especially the women, because they have been harmed the worst, because when they don't learn at home how to be proper women, they're really lost. Yeah, a lot of that is going on. A lot of that is going on. And then again, like I said, when it comes to these toxic mothers, you know, the truth be told is you have also not only Black women that are struggling with bitterness, but also I'm learning there's a lot of Black women who have experienced their youth being tampered with at a young age. And I'm not saying this is the case for all Black women, but there are a lot of Black women that have experienced sexual abuse, child molestation, and physical abuse. Y'all can't even begin to imagine me working at a correctional facility, how many men are having grown men that are having relations with young Black females in their family. Just because you see you look at certain Black women and they try to act like they got so much strength and how they're not pressed and unbothered. Us a lot of Black women who have experienced some, I would say 3 out of 5 have experienced some type of sexual abuse, sexual trauma. Because believe it or not, a lot of Black women were not protected by their mothers. A lot of black men, women were not protected by their mothers. You know how many black women had mothers who knew their boyfriends, their stepdaddies, or whoever was raping them, and they did nothing about it? And when your youth is tampered with at a young age, it affects you in which you will start to desire things as a child that only a woman should desire. Believe it or not, some of these females out here that are very promiscuous, that have multiple partners, believe it or not, some of these females, their own mamas done pimped them out. Or their own mamas, allowed the boyfriend or allowed the stepdaddy or whoever to come in and take advantage of their daughter so they can pay their rent. Believe it or not, it's a lot of black women who've been pimped out by their own black mothers. Hey, we need to pay this rent. I need you to do Mr. Charlie. I know a lot of y'all just want to believe that some black women are just fucked up to be fucked up, but a lot of women, black women, grew up or was raised under some very unhealthy, dysfunctional circumstances. A lot of that has shaped, and this is not to condone or excuse thought behavior, because you do have some black women, they just straight damn thoughts. Ain't nothing happened to them. They ain't been raped, they ain't been molested, they just whorish. You got some women who just love penis, who just love to be promiscuous. You have some women who actually enjoy whoring. Whoring makes some women feel powerful. So I'm not giving this as a pass to say that black women are thoughts because they've been child molested. No, that's not the case for all of them. But in many cases, I know women who have been raped by their own fathers. I know black women who've been raped by their own uncles. Back in the day, how families all used to live together, how the uncle, the daddy, the mama, or maybe the biological father wasn't there, so the uncle moved in. And instead of the uncle being the uncle was creeping in the bedroom 3, 4 in the morning, robbing his niece of her innocence. See, this is the deep shit we don't want to talk about. Tanya says, I have a friend whose niece was killed because her mom thought the man she was with was more important than her own daughter. We see that in the news every day. How many black women are allowing their children's safety to be jeopardized and compromised just so they can have a man in their household? Half of these men, and I could never understand why so many women do that. And I see it's more our race doing it than other races. Now, this is not to say other white women don't do it or whatever. I'm sure other women do it, but it's just so discouraging that there's so many black women out here. Y'all are so comfortable leaving y'all children with these men who aren't their fathers. It should be years. I would say you at least need to know a man for at least 5 years. And even then, you still have to be careful. But I know women who only knew dudes for like a year, 6 months to a year. And you leaving your house, going to work while this man is with your child. Because really, the truth is, single mothers are more prone to make the worst decisions, because what tends to happen is a lot of these single mothers, they want to find an instant dad. They want to find a substitute dad. They want a man to take the place of the deadbeat. And what tends to happen is, especially these child predators, these undercover child, molesters and these chusters, they prey on that. You have a lot of women who so badly want to make up and substitute for the deadbeat, the loser who they chose to have that child from. They want another man to play the daddy role. And they don't do their research. They don't wait till they've been with the man for a couple of years to see how he really interacts around the child. You have a lot of that. That's what I'm saying. It's a lot of black women who are out here who got all type of psychological issues and mental illnesses because, believe it or not, their own mama did not protect them. So this is another reason why you have some of these black women out here. They really don't feel like they got to listen to what anything a man has to say because they have been robbed of their innocence from men. So you have some of these sisters, they walk around here bitter, hateful, and angry because it was a man who robbed their innocence, and now these same men are telling me how I need to be as a black woman, how I need to act as a black woman. How y'all going to tell me how to act as a woman when I had a black man take advantage of me? I had a black man rape me. So you have some of these sisters out here who are dysfunctional, who are toxic because they've been through some very traumatizing situations. And a lot of people don't understand the trauma of having a grown ass man climb on top of you and insert his penis into your 10-year-old body, into your 6-year-old body. A lot of y'all don't understand the trauma of you being 6 years old and a man pushing your head up and down on his penis. A lot of y'all don't think that a lot of black women have experienced these type of traumas because they black mamas wanted a man so bad. So while mama was going to work or mama went to the club at night, leaving you with Mr. Freddie, you know how traumatizing that is? Every time your mother leaves the house, you know what Mr. Freddie is going to have you do. And you don't have nobody there to stop it. Do you not understand the trauma of that? Do you not understand when your mom comes home, she's so happy to see her man kissing up and rubbing up on him. She don't know your day has been hell because this man made you go down on his old nasty penis. When you should be a child enjoying your youth playing with dolls, playing outside, making mud pies. Exactly, work hard. The women that do that hate the child's father, so they do that to harm the father through destroying his child. A lot of that. You have a lot of women out here, they don't trust the opinion of men. They don't trust the advice of men. They don't respect the advice of men because there was a man who somewhere during her youth, he tarnished it. He contaminated it. A sister told me on Facebook years ago, her granny hated her mom and sent her rapist uncle to live with them to specifically rape her to hurt her mom. He had already caught a charge off of it before. Wow. I can believe that. So all women are just not fucked up to be fucked up. Something fucked up happened. And if you was a woman who didn't get to experience that, God bless you. Because a lot of women did not dodge that bullet. You have a lot of these sexual predators have so much control over their household. You have a lot of women, they feared a lot of these toxic mothers feared their predator boyfriends. They knew what their predator boyfriends were doing, but because they were so in love and scared of them at the same time, they allowed these men to take full advantage. So a lot of that goes on in the black community. There have a lot of these sisters out here, like I said, that have their growth has been stunted from their childhood, And that's one of the factors as to why a lot of these black women out here are straight dysfunctional. I don't care how pretty she looks. Don't think because a woman is pretty. Don't think because a woman is successful. Don't think because a woman is married. Don't think because a woman has beautiful children. Don't think because a woman has a nice body that she didn't experience some type of trauma in her childhood. A lot of that is defense mechanism for them to block out the things that they have experienced, the trauma they have experienced. A lot of it is their way of blocking it out and tuning it out and acting like it didn't exist. That's their way of trying to be normal without allowing that sexual trauma to overtake them. And what is sad is that these men go after these toxic women just because they had issues like that. Yeah, and you have, and again, you have some of these brothers, they prey on women that they know come from these traumatizing situations. Like I said, everybody want to speak about how dysfunctional black women are, which we are, how drama-filled we are, how unstable we are. But have y'all ever thought to consider what could have possibly contributed to those factors? Now, again, I'm not saying that's the case for everybody. You got some women that's just straight hoish. Ain't nothing happened to their ass. They grew up in a decent household, had loving parents, and still turn out to be whorish. I get it. But them ain't the ones I'm talking about. I'm talking about these ones who never had seeked any help. So we have to be very mindful. You cannot just look at the surface of things. Sometimes you got to look beneath the surface. You have to look beneath the surface. So some of these females, they aren't dysfunctional just cause something happened. It was that one evil, perverse, grown man who was also dysfunctional, who decided to take advantage of a younger woman who he knew didn't know any better, who he knew. And there's plenty of grown men. And you know what the sad part is? A lot of these undercover child molesters, they be right in the red pill chat room, co-signing on everything these red pill consecrators are saying. They co-signing on the fact that, the content that's being promoted, how, you got black women are dysfunctional, black women who are unstable. And yeah, that's true. You got a lot of them out there. But my thing is, some of these brothers that support the movement, they are the cause of it. And that's true, right? I agree with that too. As women, even when we have experienced some type of trauma, we can't use that as a crutch to be abusive to men, to be disrespectful to men, because at the end of the day, everybody is not that uncle who raped you. Everybody is not that daddy that molested you. You have to place your anger where it needs to be placed at. And not only that, you have to seek spiritual counseling. You got to get some type of psychiatric help, because it's just going to make you bitter. It's just going to consume you, and it's just going to make you more hostile. So that's my opinion. Hopefully I answered most of Miss T's question. If you have a toxic mother, the best thing you can do is start preparing to build you a future in which you don't have to depend on your mother as much. I'm not sure if you're still in high school. I'm not sure if you're still depending on your mother for a place to stay. But while you're young, this is the time to start making plans. To come from up under your mother. Because as long as you're planning and you starting to establish a life for yourself, and you get from up under her, you'll be able to not, you'll have the advantage of not having to be a crutch to her toxicness. Most women who have toxic mothers, they don't have anything to do with their mothers. I know women who are married and don't want nothing to do with their toxic mothers. I know women who have children and they would not allow their children to have a relationship with their grandmothers because they know their mother has always been toxic and they don't want their children to have to experience that side of their grandparent. So the best thing to any of my ladies out there, if you have a toxic mother and you see the direction her life has went based on her toxic decisions, the last thing you want to do is listen to any advice she has to give, especially if she's trying to encourage you to ruin your life or to do the wrong thing. So the best advice that I can give to women who have toxic mothers: love your mother from a distance. Do not live with her. Avoid it at all costs. Living with a toxic mother. Get your own place. Stay with another family member. Because sometimes it's unfortunate, but the only way you can get along with toxic women, you got to be toxic too, and that's not healthy. So definitely, that's the best advice I can give as far as that. And realize that a lot of these women, your own mother, could very well be jealous of you because you have a chance to make something out of life. You have a chance to not become everything that she is. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be the one to break that generational curse. A lot of times we want somebody to break the generational curse for us when you got to be the one to break it. So that's one of the main things I wanted to say regarding that. So hopefully to Miss T, I was able to answer your questions as far as that goes with having a toxic mother. Yep, and that's true. You have a lot of black males that's been physically and sexually abused by their moms. It happens a lot, but unfortunately, it's women who suffer the wrath way more of it. But it both definitely happens. Now, the other thing, before I get ready to shut things down, want to talk about Lala Anthony divorcing Carmelo Anthony. I don't know if any of y'all have heard, but she went and filed for divorce as of yesterday. She's been married. Lala Anthony, she's been a host of MTV. She played in Ghost as Keisha. Lala Anthony has definitely come a long way with her career. She started off as just a host of MTV. She has blossomed into an actress. She's done a couple of movies. She's done shows. She's been doing really well as far as her success, but her marriage, on the other hand, has not been doing relatively well. Carmelo Anthony was already caught up in a scandal. I'll say probably about 3-4 years ago, with his side baby, him knocking up a groupie outside of the marriage. She still stayed with him even once that, had been confirmed, because at first for a while she thought it was a rumor. But once it had been confirmed that Carmelo actually had a child, a daughter, from one of his groupies, she still decided to still, I guess, hang in there for a bit. Then not too shortly thereafter, he got caught overseas on a yacht with some mixed woman or whatever. So that he also got caught. He also got exposed for that. She still stayed with him a little while longer after that, So basically, I guess she has finally accepted the fact that this marriage, she wants it to be over with at this point, because it's just been way too much that has transpired. So I kind of figured Lala Anthony was on her way out, because I've been noticing she's been doing a lot of thirst trapping pictures. And she hadn't been wearing her ring for almost a year. Because I'm friends with her on her Instagram account. So I've been noticed that Lala Anthony hadn't been wearing her ring. Lala Anthony has been posting a lot of thirst trap pictures of her bikini, with her bikini thongs on. And, she's been doing a lot of thirst trapping since this exposure of Carmelo Anthony stepping out on her. My opinion is this. When Carmelo and Lala married, they married really young. They married really young. I don't even think Carmelo was 20 years old when him and Lala married. What a lot of women have to realize, when you marry these men young, especially when they're in the NBA, in the NFL, you know, when they are at the peak of their careers, you already know groupies are going to be swarming around these men like bees to a beehive. That comes with the territory. You have a lot of these women who want a high value man so bad, who want a high earned man so bad, but then when you get with these type of dudes who make all this money, who in the prime of their career, is so much temptation that these men encounter. I remember when Lala and Carmelo was doing a reality show about Lala's full court wedding. Carmelo to me just never really seemed interested. I'm sure he loved Lala. I'm sure he loved her. I won't say he didn't love her, but you can just tell, even throughout the show, he really didn't have any interest. It seemed like she was so in love with him, but he never really struck me as the type of man that was really in love with his wife. And that tends to happen a lot. You have some women that are so in love with their husbands, but their husbands just love them. And sometimes you have these men who have a love for their wives, not based on the fact that basically she was there when nobody else was, or she was there before he got big and before he got successful. So you have some men that feel the need to love their wives out of obligation, meaning that, well, she was there for me when nobody else was. She was there when I started out my career. So I strongly believe Carmelo felt obligated to marrying Lala based on the fact that she was with him at the prime of his career. And not only that, at that time, she was the only woman who had a child from him. So I believe Carmelo felt he owed that marriage to her for that reason. But a person, just because a person marries you, that does not mean that they really feel they owe that to you. And I just strongly believe that it was only going to be a matter of time when Carmelo started stepping out there on Anthony. Because again, when you get with these successful men that are NFL players, NBA players, it's a lot of temptation out on the road. They're always on the road. They're always going to games. It's always these females that's waiting outside of the lobby of the hotel. And the fact that men in this type of industry, they have so many choices. It's so many women that they can choose from. And especially when they go into this industry young, this is why LeVar Ball, LeVar, he pretty much tries to talk to his sons, and he has coached them about, not getting involved with groupies and being selective. That's why you have men who've been in the industry. They try to warn these young cats and try to tell them, during your career, all you're gonna meet is hoes. LeVar Ball, he told his sons that. He told them while they're in the prime of their career, now all you're gonna meet is hoes. You're not gonna meet a good woman right now. You're not gonna meet women that means you well. And I think it's honorable for a man who's been in the industry, who's been in his basketball career for years, he's able to pass that knowledge to his sons that are also following his footsteps. So Carmelo Anthony was already young at the peak of his career. So the odds of him staying faithful to Lala, the odds wasn't going to be good with him staying faithful to Lala. I don't know what she was thinking going in into a match with him, thinking that he was going to be faithful. There's not too many men in this industry, again, basketball players, football athletes, rappers, producers, Most men in the industry are going to most likely be very, very whorish. And that's where you have to, that's where your common sense has to be, your common sense has to be registered. A lot of women, you have a lot of women who are drawn to men with money. There's a lot that comes with that territory. You have a lot of women that are drawn to men that are successful. They are drawn to men who can give them that baller wife lifestyle. But are you ready for all of what comes with that? Yes, you're going to have the Bentley. Yes, you're going to have the Porsche. Yes, you're going to have the 8-bedroom mansion. Yes, you're going to get front row seats at the VIP. All of that. But it's a lot that comes with that type of lifestyle. Because these men can easily become very bored with you because they know they have so much choices. Carmelo Anthony was bored with his marriage. Now, that does not justify him going out there stepping and cheating. That doesn't mean he deserves a pass. That doesn't mean that I'm saying his actions are excusable. But truth be told, she's been with that man 11 years. How long she thought Carmelo was going to be faithful to her? Any woman who decides to get with a man in the industry, just be prepared that your husband is not going to be faithful to you throughout the whole duration. Most of the time, when these men do get faithful, something has to happen. No different like with Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant married very young. He was at the peak of his career. He got caught up, God bless his soul, but he got caught up in that scandal. What's up, Mobley? He got caught up in that scandal in which that waitress accused him of raping her, which we knew that wasn't mutual. 9 times out of 10, we know he didn't rape that woman. That wasn't mutual. But the fact that he stepped out was already embarrassing to her as a wife. And what a lot of women have to realize, these big men with big money, it comes with a lot of problems. Dwayne Wade stepped out on Gabrielle Union. There's not too many of men in the industry that I can name that has been faithful. Jay-Z stepped out on Beyonce. And Blue Ivy is not his first daughter. It's already been confirmed he had another daughter out there way before he got big in the industry. Yeah, Dwayne Wade, I don't know what his problem is. But you can't, there's not too many men. It's a lot of temptation. You got all these women throwing themselves at you. You young, you're not used to that kind of attention. You're not used to all these women desiring you, wanting you, and it's not you that they want. They want your lifestyle. They want your benefits. So now she's deciding to divorce him after 11 years, and I'm know the reason she did it that way because in most states, if you've been married for 10 years or longer, you're most likely eligible to get spousal support for the rest of your life until you get remarried. Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if Jay-Z is still cheating. I won't be surprised, but you know I'm saying all that to say this. There's no way, what women have to understand, you're not going to get with successful men and think that they're going to only be faithful to you throughout the whole duration of the relationship. By the time they do decide to get faithful, it's going to be one or two things that's going to have to happen. By the time these men get to a point in which they want to be faithful, either one, it's going to take the right bitch, they get caught up with the wrong one that makes their life miserable, that takes them for everything they had. That's what happened with Kobe Bryant. Why you think you ain't heard about Kobe Bryant out there hoeing or doing anything else? It took him getting caught up with that one big scandal, having to explain himself in front of his wife, Vanessa, being on his side. Fortunately, she decided to stay with him because she was considering divorcing him. But it took him to be publicly humiliated for him to stop holding around on his wife. And if he still was, you didn't hear nothing else about it. Either that's going to have to happen, or a man is going to have to get to a point in which he realizes that it's not worth the extra headaches. It's not worth the extra drama. I'm just going to be with my one woman, my one wife, because I need peace in my life. I do not have the energy for women trying to sabotage me, ruining me. One or two things are going to happen in order for a man of success to get to that point in which he realizes it's not worth putting his dick out there all kind of way for anybody to just have access to it. Yeah, no, and a couple of things with Beyonce. For one, I feel like the reason she has stayed thus far, for one, because Jay-Z is Jay-Z. You have a lot of women that are just drawn to the power of a man that has a lot of power, a man that has a lot of clout, a man that has a lot of success. You have some women that are drawn to powerful men, no matter how fucked up they are as husbands or as companions, but they love the fact that they are with a man of high prestige that has a lot of power. So that's one, because I guaranteed you, had it been anybody else, she would have been left his ass. Jay-Z is a multi-millionaire. Yeah, she got her millions, but think about it. Why would Beyonce want to settle and get with a dude that's making less money than her? Why? So she could end up being another Nicki Minaj, getting a Pookie, or end up as another Britney Spears, getting a common denominator ass dude that's going to benefit off of her riches. So Jay-Z was as close as she was going to get to having a man of success. So that's one thing, because of what Jay-Z is. And for two, you got to realize Beyonce was raised in a household where she had both of her parents, her mother and her father. So regardless of what Jay-Z was doing, she wanted to make sure that Blue Ivy, her children, had the benefits of having both parents there. Most women who were raised in two-parent households, they do not want to raise their children by themselves. Most women who are raised in two-parent households, they do not want to raise their children by themselves. Beyonce had both her parents. Now think about it now. Beyonce's father was known for cheating. Her mom put up with it. Look at the dynamics. Why you think she put up with it? She seen her mom put up with it. You got some women that are like this. They are willing to deal with the cheating, deal with the chaos, deal with the shortcomings or whatever of a marriage, if that's what it's going to take, keeping their kids together. So Beyonce was willing to go through all of that hiatus just to keep her family together. It's one thing going through it with a broke dude, going through it with a millionaire dude. So most likely, I believe both of those played a significant factor. And Beyonce still keeping her marriage. Because, like I said, because of Jay-Z's status and the fact that she was raised in a household with both parents, her father, Matthew Knowles, has had multiple affairs on her mother. So she saw her mother stand through it. So, you know, a lot of that played a factor on why she took a lot of things she took off of Jay-Z. And you have a lot of men who do this. Once a man has been caught in some type of scandal, what he does, he feels like he could pay it off. That's what Dwayne Wade did. That's what Kobe Bryant did. 9 out of 10, that's what Jay-Z did. Most multi-millionaire females, most multi-millionaire female men, when they know they done got caught up in some type of scandal, when they know they got caught up in some type of situation, they pay for it. Because they feel like the only way to make a woman not hold too many grudges against you for you cheating on her, just supply her with more materialistic things. And unfortunately, for a lot of women, that's usually how they win them back over. Notice Kobe Bryant gave Vanessa all his championship rings, which are worth millions. All of that when he got caught up in that scandal. Notice how Beyonce started having children back to back to back to back. All of that was so that that was his way of comforting Beyonce through all of the times that he had been caught cheating on her. Because they went for a long time not having kids. A long time. The kids ain't start coming till all the scandals started coming out. Because he felt like he owed it to her by then. I think Solange, not with her husband, because Solange is very masculine acting. All of us should know that by now. Look at how the hell she scrapped Jay-Z in the elevator. Solange is very masculine. So Solange is more masculine than her sister. Her sister is Beyonce is more feminine than Solange. Anytime you get a female that's willing to attack a full-grown man in the elevator, that's a real definition of masculinity. But anyway, y'all, I'm gonna get ready to shut some things down because I know I have been on here for a minute. But yeah, those were just some of the key points I wanted to address about toxic mothers, basically having a big influence in how their daughters think and how their daughters live their lives. If you have a toxic mother, again, love your mother from a distance, but at the same time, preserve your peace. Don't adopt those toxic characteristics. You see where it got her. No, nothing good is going to come out of it. So be very mindful of that. Also, for everybody who definitely super chatted, I definitely appreciate the super chats. I thank y'all for supporting my brand. I definitely thank everybody in the chat room who has been hanging out with me. Definitely, Rael, thank you for the books. I actually ordered one of them, so I'm waiting for that one. I'm waiting to get that one sent to me. So definitely, I think Black people, Black men and Black women, we definitely have to educate ourselves more. Don't get hooked on the bitter pill content creators. It's too many of us that are depending on them to give us knowledge, depending on them to educate us. Learn to educate yourselves. Don't become so infatuated with these YouTube content creators that you only learn from them and what they promote. Learn to educate yourself. Thank you, Detorian, for the $2 donation, sir. Appreciate you very much. So again, we have to educate ourselves. We as Black women, also we have to put ourselves in situations in which we do not fall prey to the 3D desperation, dick and denial. You have to make better decisions throughout your life. That way you're not put in a situation where you're desperate. You're taking anything. You're taking anything that would take you. You're accepting anything that will accept you. Right now we are at a state of an emergency, and we have to definitely start making choices, because again, the red pill sector is definitely schooling these is schooling these men and letting them know to beware of women that can possibly contaminate a man's future, contaminate a man's well-being. So if I were you, I would definitely at this point in time start making decisions that are going to better you as a woman and not make you more bitter. So anyway, y'all, I'm gonna get ready to shut it down. It's your diva and knowledge, Lady Mocha. Again, anybody has any advice or anything they would like for me to respond to, you're welcome to email me at Cafe de Paris in case you have something you want me to do a commentary on or something you'd like to ask me about. Also, my Cash App is $ Diamond Girl for those of you who want to continue to keep supporting my movement. Also, today's content is brought by the No Fuckery Zone, promoting knowledge, not garbage. For those of you who are interested in cable, I sell cable, $26 a month, over 6,000 channels. All you have to do is have a Fire Stick and I can connect your cable today. So anyway, y'all, it's been pleasant. It's been nice. It's your diva of knowledge, Lady Mocha. Remember, I'm going to always pour you a cup of truth, and I'm going to always break you off a slice of knowledge. Y'all be blessed. Again, thank you for the support, and thank you for the Cash Apps. Later.